This is Limsa Lominsa, inside the world of Eorzea of Final Fantasy XIV. This video is a beginning guide for those who may have never even touched an MMO before, just straight through and to the point of explaining the systems that an immediate player or even a returning player who hasn't played in a long time may encounter. One of the first things you will be asked is to choose a data center. These are kind of where your server will be. If you're living in North America, obviously you'll want to select North American data centers. It does not matter what server you're on, unless you're playing with friends, then I would suggest you all be on the same server. Speaking of character customization, there are 8 races to choose from. It does not matter which one you pick, as long as you like the look of your character. There's no reason to pick one above the other. There's even starting stats based off of your clan. You can safely ignore these. After choosing all of these options on the left-hand side, you will then be asked if you want to save your appearance. This is great that if you make a character and you want to make it again on another server, say you got some friends, you can just load this appearance. It will ask you if you'd like to load it, and you can just go from there and say yes, and then choose an option like I have these here. After that, you will be asked to pick your birthday. These, as it says, faintly you may be able to read it, it says this selection has no effect on gameplay. Pick whichever if you want to have a lore reason behind it. The Guardian is the same as the birthday. Read the lore on the upper left-hand side. Whichever you like the sound of, there's also no effect on gameplay. This, however, actually has a profound amount of impact on your starting gameplay. After about a couple hours into the story, you will be able to change your job. The Gladiator, personal favorite of mine, you are a tank. Your job is to be the first running into the enemies, to go through and generate what is called enmity, or aggro, as some might have heard it been called before. That just means the enemies will want to hit you, and that is your job, is for them to be hitting you. The other part of this game is healing. Its main job is to keep your allies alive. Like the tank keeps the enemies off of your allies, your job is to keep essentially the tank and yourself and the others alive. This is DPS. Their job is to take out all the enemies as best they can. Their job is strictly that. It is to hurt all of the enemies to make the tank take less damage and the healer to heal less. That being said, the DPS is often the most easy to learn at the start, as you can beat on a bunch of enemies and you'll make it through nice and quick. I won't go into great detail, but essentially the Gladiator is the sword and shield. The Marauder, they use a giant axe to generate their aggro. The healer uses usually a staff in which to cast their magic. The Pugilist uses their fists or fist weapons. The Lancer, it's in the name, uses a big lance. The Archer uses a bow to attack from a distance. The Thaumaturge, their job is to cast and use their magic. An Arcanist is much like a Thaumaturge, except they are more about summoning. Depending which class you pick will determine what zone/city you will be starting in. The Gladiator starts in Ul'dah, the Pugilist starts in Ul'dah, and the Thaumaturge also starts in Ul'dah. The Conjurer starts in Gridania, the Lancer and the Archer both also start in Gridania. The Arcanist as well as the Marauder also start in Limsa Lominsa, which was the zone that I showed you in the very beginning of this video as I was walking through for the introduction. Now what you may see on screen may look a little daunting, but I assure you the game is actually a lot more straightforward and simple in the beginning than you would believe. In the upper left part of the screen you will see where it says next main scenario quest. That will always tell you what quest you are on for the main story. You can follow that, it will give you markers, it'll help you along, it will teach you how to play the game, it will give you different scenarios that you will encounter throughout your experience in Eorzea. If you'd like to rearrange your UI, all you have to do is press escape on your keyboard and press HUD layout. This will bring up what would look like graph paper. If you find that, say, this hotbar, which is where your buttons will be placed, is too small, you could place it to be that big. Though I would not advise that, as when you start running around and there's circles on the ground that you know to leave from so you do not take damage, this might get in the way a bit. You can also change the layout of the bar. You could have it be like that, a 6x2, a 4x3. You could place them anywhere you want. If you feel it's necessary, you could put the bar down there. There's no harm in choosing where you have it as long as it works for you. On this screen here, you will see that you have a sprint button, which lets you move faster for 10 seconds or 20 seconds when not in combat. I found making the tip sizes a little bigger for my monitors at least was the better course of action. These will always tell you everything there is to it. This little lock you will see over here to the side of your first bar allows you to move it anywhere you want and change the keys that you would like to press it with. So if I want F1 to be my sprint button, I tap the F1 key, I can sprint. There is the return, which allows you to go back to basically the place you chose to start. The game will walk you through this, so I will save some time. But just know that this has a long, what is called a cooldown or a recast time. Sprint has 25 seconds left, and it is counting down in a clockwise fashion. That lets you know when the ability is able to be used again. You have the teleport, which as you explore the game, you'll have more places to teleport to. It will cost you money, but it is dependent on distance. Say you were in Limsa, which is the city I currently am in. It would not make sense to teleport to Limsa in Limsa. We'll be using the thaumaturge for the sake of this guide. This might look daunting that there's a lot of buttons, but I assure you it is not as complicated as it sounds. This is your level 1 spell. Fire is your level 2 spell. It will point things on the screen so you know what it's about. There is correct ways to play each class, but in the early game when you're just getting used to the game, they'll keep that far away. Just play it, enjoy it. There is no wrong answer to your class of what you pick. This is the journal. This effectively houses all of the quests you'll pick up throughout the game. As you can see up here where it says reward, it gives you 50 experience and 95 gil, which is the currency found within the game. Where it says description will give you the lore of the quests that you're doing. If you're into reading them, I advise reading them and learning the lore. It is actually a very good story. Then it will give you your objective. Deliver the package for the dutiful sisters to Lone Ward. As you can see here at the bottom of this quest in particular, it says abandon and map on the right and left respectively. There's the map button, brings up the map like so, to let you know this side quest is located here. When a quest is done, that half-crested symbol that says that this is a step in a quest will turn into a check mark. When you see that check mark, it will be the game's way of telling you the quest is completed, and then you will pick your reward if there is a reward for you to pick. Now, I would like to point your attention to the upper left again, except this time there is an exclamation point underneath where the next main scenario quest is. This is called your class quest. Some quests will give you a new spell to complete them. Constantly check up there just to make sure that you're doing your main story, and if that kind of quest pops up, which fluctuates on level, for the beginning part of the game, it will be roughly every 5 levels. You can click that same symbol again, and it'll show it's in Ul'dah. As you can see, there is a blue marker behind that exclamation point with a plus. That generally means doing this quest will unlock something. It might be a new class in certain areas. It will be possibly things later on. It can be a profession, which does exist within the game. They are called Disciples of Land and Hand for gathering and crafting respectively. So if you ever see any of those kinds of quests, even if you don't do them right away, it is probably best to pick them up. This is what is called a fate. There are blue circles, and when you put your cursor on them, it will tell you a remaining time and the level you would want to be while doing, in a progress bar. That enemy in front of me is called a Goblin Hunter. The goal is to fill that bar on the right-hand side where it says Goblin Chain level 15 with 8 minutes left. Your goal is to beat these enemies. Now, as you're casting these abilities, from time to time, that kind of circle will pop up. That is the game's way of telling you that if you remain in this area, you will take damage. More often than not, circles like this are completely avoidable, but they will look intimidating. Once it is complete or that time runs down, you will be given a reward based off of how much you contributed. If you're by yourself, you beat the whole thing, which is doable, you will get a gold medal, which will give you the biggest reward. Your main story quest will take you to this building. This is called the Hall of the Novice. When you make it to this quest of the Hall of the Novice, you will be able to register for the Hall of the Novice training. As you can see here, it says the Hall of the Novice offers a comprehensive series of training exercises for adventurers wishing to prepare themselves for the rigors of party combat. Would you like to register for a course? As you can see here, it says DPS Training Exercise 1. That is what the starting classes that I brought up earlier of Pugilist, Lancer, Archer, Thaumaturge, and Arcanist. Those are considered DPS. There's 7 total exercises. These exercises are going to teach you stuff like moving out of those circles that I showed you earlier, just the general playstyle of the game, especially as it pertains to dungeons and so on. As you progress throughout the game, you'll eventually reach what is called a dungeon. There are 2 things to keep in mind with dungeons. Yes, they are done with players, so if you are afraid of being there with players, don't be. If you absolutely are terrified of going with another player, or even just want to practice tanking so you can understand how it goes, you can see this portal here. When you get to this dungeon, it is called Sastasha. Say, I want to enter with a party of NPCs. As a Thaumaturge, you are a DPS, so your background will be red. You'll have a red sword symbol. The tank of the group will always have the blue shield symbol, and the Conjurer green with the medic kind of symbol. You can click down at the bottom where it says register for duty, and you will do the dungeon, but it will be with no players. You will just have these 3 individuals that are just the game's controlled characters. It will pop up and say Sastasha. If you are ready, you click your commence. If you click wait, it makes the menu disappear, which then can be found in this red kind of oval symbol saying duty participation Sastasha. You click that, it will bring this back up. When you click commence, you'll get a loading screen like so, and you will be in the dungeon. Every dungeon has a starting movie. Feel free to watch them. Don't let anyone rush you. Experience the game. Read the dialogue. It's a big game. There's a lot in it. And if you just speed rush through it, you may find yourself overwhelmed, as you could go really, really fast. You can press the tab button on your keyboard to cycle, as you see the arrow above its head, between each one. The tank job, as you see with this formation here, you see how the tank is always the person in front of you? That's meant to be like, hey, the tank should be the one that engages these enemies. So if I cast my Blizzard spell and attack that enemy, he starts attacking. Now he has the threat. As you can see here, it shows who he's targeting. You can know safely that you can cast these spells and get used to your abilities, and you will not be attacked. We'll use my Dark Knight here as an example. Don't let all these buttons overwhelm you. It's not, again, I can't stress this enough, it's not as complicated as it looks. If I do the same register for duty, the controlled player, or the controlled characters automatically just stop. Like, they don't go running ahead of you, so you don't have to worry about any of that. This is great for learning tanking, especially as there is a thing called a tank stance, which for the Dark Knight is called grit. When you press it, this symbol that's glowing, every tank has it. By the time you get into your first dungeon, you will have what is called an AoE, or an area of effect. In this instance, it is a big circle. It means it is an area around you that will generate aggro or threat. It basically is what makes the enemies attack you. Now you can go through and press your abilities. If you go through and cycle between each enemy with that tab key or by pressing on them, the enemies are defeated. And now you would move on to the next one. That is how the job of tank operates. An advanced tip I'll leave here just in case is once you've pressed this twice, for example, you can go back to pressing your 1 ability, your 2nd ability, because every class has a combo of sorts. Anything beyond that, I don't feel comfortable leaving here. So if you guys want things like that and combos and setting up your class or how to play them, just say so, leave a comment. What matters is that you have fun and you like the class you're playing. You can have your character be all of these classes. You could say, you know what? I don't want to be a Thaumaturge anymore. I want to go try this Pugilist. You go, you find the Pugilist Guild, which is in Ul'dah for those who don't know. Find their level 1 quest that says about being a pugilist. You throw on their fist weapons, boom, you are now a pugilist. As you can see here, there is something called the duty finder that is bound to the U key. This is where you can join your dungeon if you want to go with other players. And if you are afraid of doing that, or if you just want to practice, or even just get really nice pictures, then you can do the duty support, found a couple spaces down. This will have access to the dungeons that are available. This duty support screen is how you would be able to go for those dungeons. You do not need to go back to the dungeon. You just click on that. It will teleport you to the dungeon, and when you're done, you leave. It will just put you right back where you were standing. As the sun starts to set on Limsa Lominsa, that is the end of this beginner video. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Leave a like, subscribe. Tell me your favorite memory of a great time you had within Eorzea and Final Fantasy XIV. If this helped you in any way, or you made you feel that you wanted to give the game a try, jump in. The free trial is great. I'm sure you'll see the meme of the free trial soon enough. Just have fun with it. Pick a class that you like the sound of or how it feels to you. And I will hopefully see you all in the next video.